What's up everybody, Cutroneo here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is video number 32 in my video progress series on Saudade No. 3 by Roland Dyens. So what you just heard was my first performance, and my biggest criticism of that first performance is in needing to remember the musical ideas which I decided upon in the performance. With that idea in mind, I altered my time a little bit in practicing. So I only spent 5 minutes today working on the hammer-ons from nowhere. Same thing as usual, saying it with letter names 3 times, count it out loud 3 times, and then use the remainder of the practice going slow and making sure that I am getting nice, solid hits with the left hand. The other thing that I did make an adjustment on is that I am playing it ponticello, this part. So I practiced it that way the whole time. 5 minutes was a good amount of time to work on that. I didn't need to really do much longer than that. I then spent 15 minutes working on the phrases of the section, doing my tiered practice, 60, 70, and then 80. And that I felt, it was interesting that, at 60, as I'm trying to play the first phrase, I've been playing it for, a month and a half-ish now, maybe a little less than that. And it's interesting that I'm still having difficulty doing that and playing it at 60 and getting it really clean and really accurate. Little things like note buzzes because the fingers are slightly off and things like that I'm really trying to fix within that. So that was an interesting thing for me. So I did the first phrase at 60, then 3 times. When I got that consistent at 3 times, then 70, consistent 3 times at 70, then I tried it once at 80. Then I dropped the tempo back down. I did the second phrase, which is the next 4 bars, and the same thing. Something that I realized there is that while the arpeggio is a pretty simple P-I-M-A-M-I arpeggio with a little bit of a pause in the middle, the introduction of the thumb on different fingers really does throw off the feeling of that arpeggio from being something smooth to being something awkward. So what I spent a lot of time on at the 60, at all of those practice tempo, is really going slow with open strings and really making sure my thumb knew where it was doing. Like right there, it didn't do it appropriately. That was something I worked on, and then also bringing it back to the thumb afterwards. So I really spent a lot of time drilling in that, and I thought that was time really well spent. And then introducing the left hand adds in a further complication of this pinky just not coming down in enough time. What I didn't do is I didn't do my left hand alone, that kind of thing. That sort of thing. So I do need to add that into it as well to work out the shift and smooth that out. That is just really awkward, and I would say unexpectedly awkward in the piece. So after I pretty much got up through the whole entire A section of this dance section of the piece, and I was able to add in the repeats, and I was able to add in the colors. Those color changes are still not 100% there for me mentally. And you'll see me sort of like, oh, I have to, I remember sort of like after the first or second note and I changed the color real quick. So those are things that I really need to just continue to reinforce. And that's why I spent an extra 5 minutes working on that. After I did that, I worked on my letter names for 10 minutes. And the first 3 phrases were really easy to get my letter names. And then I got into the tongue twister section. That whole thing. And I noticed also that there was I was working out some physical issues as well. Last video, I mentioned that I was changing to the 3rd finger there. And I practiced it with the 3rd finger, but it's not coming through in the performance with the 3rd finger, which is interesting. That just needs, I think, a little bit more work of drilling out and just continually working on it in the practice that way. Overall, those were the things that I worked on. It was pretty much the exact same thing that I did in the previous practice session on this. And so let's take a listen to the final product, and we'll meet back and wrap up. So there you have the final performance of it, and I think that a lot of the things that I was working on are really starting to come through. Again, the memory of musical decisions right now is really what needs to be reinforced along with that, as well as the cleanliness of certain things. In my next practice on this section, I will make sure that I have those things in focus and that I'm working on that moving ahead. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks a lot for watching, and please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, please remember to subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell notification button so that way you get notified every time I release new content. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.